All right, we are gonna make the Doodle Pen version 2. I'm following my building instructions. And there are a couple non-Lego parts that you'll need. A rubber band, any size will really work. It's just to secure the motor to the build, or sorry, to secure the pen to the build. And then a marker and a piece of paper that we are going to draw on when we're finished. So I'm gonna set those aside and let's go ahead and get started. So we're gonna start with our length 5 axle, and we're gonna start with one of these perpendicular pin to axle pieces. So we're gonna push that through so it's sticking up like that. Then we're gonna take the one that's only 1 pin, this one was 2, this one's 1, and we're gonna flip it so that the pin hole is facing down. So these ones are facing up, this one's down. All right, then we're gonna take our 2 lift arm, the thin ones with the axle and pin holes, and we're gonna go right here so that they are facing backwards away from it. And then we're just gonna mirror what we just did. So, sorry, I keep flipping it upside down, like this and like this. All right, now on step number 6, we are going to add the 2 blue pin to axle. So let's just put those in like this. And then on step number 7, we're gonna flip it around so that we can put in 2 of our length 3 pins. And these are just gonna go right through just like that. 1 and 2. Obviously you can't do a third because we got the axle hole right here. All right, now we're gonna take our lift arm. This is our 1x7 lift arm, and goes right up just like that. And then step 9, we're gonna take 2 more of these length 3 pins. Notice where the stop is, because you want the stop to go into the lift arm so that if I push, it doesn't go any further. So they should be sticking out. 1, 2, like this. Then we're gonna take our elbow piece, so it's facing back, and we're gonna stick that on so that we have these 2 pieces hanging out the end, like that. And now we're gonna take our other 1x7 lift arm and just put it on the other side. There we go, just like this. Okay, the next part, we're gonna take 2 more, this is step 12, of our length 3 pins, and they're just gonna go through, it doesn't matter which way, because they just need to be sticking out on both sides of this. Step 13, now it's important that this axle hole is at the bottom. We want it to go down because this is where our marker is gonna rest. So we're kind of creating a little bit of a cradle right in here for our marker to rest in. So those are facing down, just like this. And then step number 14 and 15 is gonna be adding the little pins with the ball joint. And those just go in on the side here with a space in between. And we just mirror that on either side. And that just is gonna give us a place where we can loop our rubber bands around and attach the marker to there. So we've got our little ball joints here. All right, step 16, we are now gonna take our triangle lift arm. It's another one of those thin lift arms. And we're gonna attach the bottom 2 axle connectors. Now, in order to do that, these axles have to be facing in the same way. So if you're pushing and pushing and it's not going in, what you might need to do is kind of adjust the axle and rotate it so that it matches the lift arm, this triangle lift arm that you're putting in. So that goes in, and then we take a second one, and that just goes right on top, just like this. And that was step 16. All right, we're gonna put this structure down, and now we're gonna work on our motor structure. So step 18, we're gonna take our length 4 axle, and we're gonna stick it in, and then we're gonna take our 2 of the blue pins with the stop going into the motor. So we want that stop so that, because we're gonna slide things through, and if you do it upside down like this, that stop is gonna be in the way. So you gotta make sure that that stop is at the bottom going into the motor. All right, now step 19 is we're gonna attach this motor to our structure. So you're gonna line it up with the 3 holes here, the 3 vertical holes is where our motor is gonna get pushed through. So it goes through, you might need to wiggle it a little bit, and now our motor is secured to our structure. Set this down. We're gonna grab our last 1x7 lift arm, and we're going to take the axle that has the stop, so the thing at the end that stops it, and that's gonna go through 3rd from the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, and then that goes through. All right, now hold one end with your finger, and then we're gonna start with our 8-tooth gear goes on. Not so tight that there's a ton of friction. Make sure that there's just a tiny little bit of space so that there's not any friction on there, or minimal friction. And then the bushing goes in, or the little spacer right here. So that goes on like this. And then we're gonna take our motor structure and this, and we're gonna line it up with the top, and we're going to try to get it to all push together nicely so there's no gaps, and it's on just like this. All right, the next step is we're gonna take our big 40-tooth gear, and we're gonna connect that to the axle. You might need to kind of move it around so that it pushes into place, and it should line up with our 8-tooth gear right here. Okay, now we're gonna build our little counterbalance, or not even a counterbalance, sorry, our uneven, our eccentric weight, so that the whole thing wobbles as it spins. So we're gonna take this lift arm that has one end that's a little bit longer, and so the shorter end is what connects, and then the longer end sticking out here, like that. Then we're gonna take our notched axle, and we're gonna put that here. And finally, we're gonna just add this extra piece. This is just weight that goes on. So you want it facing out. If it faces in, that's just more weight towards the center. The way that these things work is the more weight and the longer this arm is, the more wobble we're gonna get. Okay, finally, we just need to secure the pen onto the attachment. So flip it upside down. You're gonna take your marker and see how it fits nicely right in here. So we've got that, and then we're just gonna use that rubber band. If you have some red rubber bands, those work. The white ones are too small, and I think the yellow ones are too big. So I'm just using like a normal sized rubber band, and I'm just gonna kind of like go around, maybe twist it a little bit and back. Okay, making sure that it's not so tight that it pushes these out. We wanna keep those in. So, I mean, it doesn't need to be super tight for this to work. It just needs to be secure so the marker doesn't fall off. Take the cap off, and then let's plug it into our battery pack. So plug it in, turn it on, and test it. Oh, there we go. We got a nice wobble to it. And then get your piece of paper out, turn it on, and however you want to hold it. I like to kind of hold it pen side with the motor over here, but if you want to hold it by the motor, however you want to do it is just fine. Either way, counterclockwise, clockwise, it kind of does the same thing. Turn it on, write something, draw something, and have fun.